Hello, fabulous Cancer. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of October 2015, General Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This month features a very potent, very interesting new moon taking place smack dab in the middle of the month. And as you know, the moon is your ruling luminary. And what that means is lunar events, especially when they are particularly potent, are felt that much more importantly and that much more profoundly by you. So we have got a new moon happening in the middle of the month, standing right across from Uranus, adding an element of where did that come from? Adding an element of shock and surprise and not being sure what you feel about what has just been revealed. Now, this is likely to play out on the home front for you. So what that means is where you live, okay? So your actual home, your literal home. This can also be related to your family of origin or your parents, if the case applies. So what is really intriguing to me about this placement for you is that it suggests, on the one hand, I remember saying to Cancers, last eclipse season, right? Not this eclipse season, but the last one. And I remember saying earlier this year, like, I don't know, I see some Cancers moving. And some Cancers actually reached out and they said, oh yeah, this changed for me, that changed for me on the home front. Well, this is another one of those moments when things could change really quickly on the home front, and they really could go either way. Now, I'm really encouraged by the fact that simultaneously, along with this new moon, lots of really positive things are taking place. Lots of things that suggest the end of cycles, forward momentum. And so this I find encouraging, but it is the lead up that suggests there might be a little bit of confusion. There might be a little bit uncertainty. And especially if you're trying to talk to people about anything, I think that you're just going to end up getting confused. Mercury is retrograde as the month begins, and right around the middle of the month, right within a couple of days of this new moon, what happens is Venus ends shadow. So this whole Venus retrograde period that we've been going through all summer is done. Those lessons are done for now. The next day, we have Mercury going direct. So Mercury is standing still as Venus ends shadow. And Mercury is standing still and slowly beginning to go direct at his most potent energy when this new moon happens right across from Uranus. Well, all of that is to say, all that astro tech talk is to say that very likely you are going to be finding on the lead up to this, we've got lots of Neptunian energy. So it's like you're trying to talk to people, you're trying to reach agreements, you're trying to find a way to get what you want. You're trying to find information even and just have a conversation. They'll end up leaving you more confused than before you began. And so my advice really would be, if you just wait it out, like in the early part of the month, try to do your own thing as much as possible, okay? And try to rely on your own judgment as much as possible as well. Because things are going to start taking a turn within a matter of just a few days. We have all these different things happening along with this new moon, which is going to be so important for you. We also have a very rare and powerful conversation taking place between Jupiter and Pluto. Now, I actually spoke about this when I did the Jupiter special, sort of the intro to the Jupiter specials, when I talked about Jupiter being in the sign of Virgo. But we'll be talking about it as we go along week to week as well in my weekly horoscopes. But this is the first of three conversations that is very fortunate, and this is getting the right information, okay? This is getting the information that makes all the difference, that has you seeing things very clearly, having a one-on-one conversation that screws your head on right and gets you understanding where your power move is and where your connections are that really are going to help propel you in the direction of positive change, change that ultimately leads to greater happiness, yes, but also a greater sense of prosperity, a greater sense of wealth as well. So really important times are taking place this month, especially smack dab in the middle of the month. So again, don't give in to any confusion and try not to, get other people's opinions in the very early part of the month. But then as you progress towards the middle, everything will become clear in a very organic kind of way, but also a surprising kind of way as well, which ultimately leaves you feeling that much more sure about self-trust and about what it is that you need to do. So let's talk a little bit more about this particular new moon. This new moon is happening at the very base of your chart, as I said. This is the part that has to do with where you live, your family of origin, a home, and a feeling of home within you as well. This could be a very quick opportunity to move, to buy, to sell. These are very strong possibilities that might be there. This could lead to a very quick opportunity to get a new roommate in, right? To understand ultimately what it is that needs to happen on home base so that issues can be resolved. And especially where it comes to, if you manifest this energy having to do more with your family of origin or a parent, it might be that very suddenly one of these people needs your attention. Okay, so you gotta pay attention there. But for all that, it does look like changes that come about are going to come about very, very quickly and surprisingly as well. One thing I am going to advise with this particular new moon in the middle of the month, be careful around like electricity, okay? Be extra cautious. If you're going to stick a fork in the toaster, make sure the toaster is unplugged, right? Very simple, common sense stuff. But when we have this type of conversation with Uranus and the moon, and especially being right at home base, you just want to make sure that all is well, right? You take those little precautions so that the energy doesn't have to manifest that way. It isn't like something literally needs to shock you in your body for you to understand the importance of feeling at home, right? You don't need to manifest it that way if you are accessing this energy consciously. Now, as I said, at this new moon, Mercury is standing still and beginning to go direct, okay? Stuff is going to start to become more and more clear. If you find, the chance to move and everything looks perfect, if you can buy yourself a couple of days, that's great. If not, it's okay too. Personally, I like to start new things after Mercury's done the shadow, but I know what it's like when you know that change has to happen, or when the universe says change's got to happen right now and you got to deal with it. And if that's the case, then you roll with it, right? You trust the universe. The universe knows where it is that you need to go ultimately to embody greater love and greater wisdom. Towards the end of the month, we have a full moon taking place in a part of the sky for you that has to do with friendships. And this is a really positively aspected, or rather it's speaking in harmony with other power players in the sky, which just suggests a good time. A good time with fun, being able to really relax, feeling really inspired. If you are so inclined, there might be wine, and there might be a lot of wine if you are inclined in that direction. But if not, you will certainly be feeling a level of inspiration, feeling a very natural high as well with this, especially if you spend time with friends. So be social, be open, be with people that you know your spirit can shine with, that you are safe with them to allow that to take place. And you will find that there is that love, there is that acceptance that not only helps you to understand the events that took place over the course of this month, and there will be quite a few events, but also that affirm that you can believe in something beautiful guiding your life. That's really what this full moon is about in many ways, that there is something out there that wants you to experience prosperity. And there's something that you can choose to connect to, whether you want to call it your own higher wisdom, your own sense of self-love and self-worth, or your own sense of knowing, or whether you want to externalize that. However you understand that energy, it is going to try and remind you that you can be prosperous, you can be happy, and you can have all the experiences that you desire, if not better ones, if you allow yourself to surrender and you trust where it is that your spirit desires for you to go. What I love about this month for you also is that while people are certainly there for you, at the same time you are encouraged to be at peace with yourself. that combination of knowing you and who you are, being comfortable within your own skin, and at the same time knowing when change needs to happen, knowing when it's time to trust yourself and when it's time to listen to others. Well, that careful consideration, that balancing act is one form of wisdom that clearly will come forward for you.